recently, a study was published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships.
Oh, tell me the detail for that one.
And it examined the ties to relatives, neighbors, and friends among U.S. adults and revealed that single individuals are more likely to stay in touch with, provide help to, and receive help from parents, siblings, neighbors, and friends than the married.
You know why?
Duh.
It's because we ain't got shit to do.
Right. You guys have the time.
These people are so busy because they got a family to run.
Yeah.
And they're tired.
Right.
If you need help from me,
these people.
Oh, these people.
I mean, it makes sense.
Kind of this. You guys are practically married. You live together, and you too.
Yeah.
But I could pick people up at the airport. How about that?
Yeah, no, literally, if people want to hit me up and hang out now, I'm like, bro, you gotta tell me like 2 weeks ahead of time, man.
You have to schedule it.
Yeah, you gotta schedule it. Even trying to hang out with my friends, because all my friends are like booed up now. Like my close homies, they all like either living with their chicks or they're basically married. So now I'm like, if I want to see the homies, I'm like, yo, in 2 weeks, are you guys available for us to all get dinner and we gotta like schedule it out?
And you got like an hour and a half window and you gotta go back after that.
Sure, yeah, no, facts though.
Right.
As opposed to when I was living alone, I mean, even when I was doing my long distance shit, when I was living alone and someone was like, yo, what you doing? Let's get something to eat. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yes.
You know, and then head out.
That's what okay, like for me, being alone again, like single again, all this stuff, right? That is what blew my mind because I was like, oh my God, we can just marinate. And then I had this feeling of like, oh, I gotta get back or I gotta do this or like there's some kind of responsibility or like there's dogs to take care of or like, oh, whatever, right? But now I'm just like, all right, what do you want to do? Whatever we want.
Yeah, fuck it. You drinks after this? Sure.
Yeah. You want to stay an extra day? Sure.
As an introvert, I like the excuse of like, I can't hang out. I have to go back home.
I live vicariously through her stories.
You feel trapped?
No, it's just.
Like there's a ball and chain.
No.
Like you just shackled.
He's afraid.
No.
Like you're imprisoned.
Yeah, blink twice if you need help.
I'm scared.
But yeah, so the researchers found that single people, or actually that married people, because of the fact that they have each other and they have their immediate families, they don't tend to stay connected to outside, like the community. And so single people tend to be more active in the community and with their friends and relatives and all that. So, and also
You get tired, that's why. You get tired and you focus a lot of building in-house, I think.
Yeah, true.
And you already have a designated person that you're building with, which
And
is
they're already a fucking headache.
yeah, your
Which is your partner?
Taika.
baby, your partner and your baby. But then when you have the choice of spending whatever time as long as you want or not as much, that's different.
I think before quarantine, I still try to do, because I really enjoy community, so I still try to stay involved. So like every Friday I would go visit David, so in the martial arts, like I still hung out with the martial arts community. I try to go shooting like once a month, so I have like the shooting community. But most of the time, Monday through Friday, it's the like your own family community.
Yeah.
But now with the quarantine, it's harder to do all those things.
You know, in this article, they linked a TEDx talk with social psychologist Bella DePaulo that was filmed back in 2017. And her whole thing, it's titled, What No One Ever Told You About People Who Are Single. And so she says that she's been single her entire life. And
What a loser!
What a lonely loser, bitch.
Just kidding.
no, it's actually really funny if you watch it because then every time they pan to the audience, they're just like,
I hate you.
yeah, so pretty much she's saying in this whole talk that no one ever explore, like the media or whatever, as a society, we never explore the option of being happy as a single person, being independent. Like everyone in media and society, everyone's just focused on, I need to find my other
I
half.
blame Disney.
Yeah, I need to find someone to spend my life with. Like no one ever thinks that they can spend their life with themselves.
Yeah,
you know?
which is silly.
Do you think so?
I do think so. I think it's silly that there's so much emphasis on you're not happy until you find that other person.
That's
I think
silly.
it's
You're
silly.
incomplete.
Yeah, I think it's silly to assume that everyone wants the same destination.
Yes.
It's like, just let everyone do whatever the fuck they want.
So interestingly, for her, she says like she's always her whole life have dealt with people always questioning her lifestyle choice and trying to like hook her up with someone, and she's just like, I just don't want a relationship.
You want to date my dog?
I do.
Happy being alone. And then she also threw in statistics, and it showed that when they studied people who were single versus when they got married, like when they would project their happiness, like where it would be. Single people would project in college, they would project that by the time they get married, their happiness shoots up.
But it's the opposite.
It's not the opposite. What ends up happening is by the time around the wedding time, like before and after, it goes up a little bit, but then overall it ends up being about the same or less than happy than when they were single. And then so she was just entertaining this whole like statistics and idea of like, you know, we don't all have to strive to be in a marriage. Like people who, and then 50% of marriages end in divorces, and then 75% or something like that of like subsequent marriages after that end in divorce. Like, by the third
multiple marriages. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Third marriage, 75% of those end, and
They're just really good at divorce.
Yep.
yeah.
People are more skilled at divorce than marriage.
Right. Or even being single, you know, just focusing on themselves and being independent and not necessarily needing to have a significant
I mean,
other.
I think divorce rates are so high because of that, right? It's because there's such a emphasis on like you need to find that person, you need to get
you
married.
won't be happy until you do.
So people feel that pressure, like
Yeah.
they end up like settling just because they feel like there's like a time limit on it. So
Yep.
then you settle with somebody you're not really happy with or whatever, and then that's why then you're not happy.
Yeah.
You know?
And then there's the other school of thought where people are like, well, I need to find my better half, my significant other, so that I can. So it's like one and one, and now it's like a half and a half, and now we come one, where it should really be like I'm one, he's one, and now we're three. Because I'm myself, and then I'm like with him.
Yeah,
Facts.
Bella was also talking about
Factual facts.
She was also talking about how single people end up being more well-rounded people than married people, because like what you just said, people end up splitting their tasks, their duties, whatever. Like you take care of the kids, I'll take care of the kitchen, whatever it is. But single people do it all themselves. So then they end up becoming like more well-rounded person, and they also tend to grow more as a person than married people.
It sounds like this chick had to defend herself so much that she became a fucking researcher. She's like, you see?
I
Yeah.
like being single.
But there's people who say being single is great, but then they really want a relationship, and they're just kind of saying that like just to defend themselves. You know, when you start pulling up stats,
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of over.
She is right though about there is a negative. Like I never knew this because I don't think this way, but I did start feeling pressure to like hurry up and get married like everyone else and all that from my own parents and just like our fans, because somehow I think society does equate marriage to happiness or like being in a
All the
relationship.
movies, like,
Yeah, happily ever after, right?
it's always pushing you in that direction.
Or even
Right.
responsible, right? Like, kind of.
Like it's a duty,
Yeah.
like you have to do it, right? Or being even in a relationship, and then being single, like I guess post 30, then something might be wrong with you or whatever. But yeah, I mean, like one of my friends, Darian, he's 41 or 2 now, and like he balances life really amazing, and he's been single forever.
Does he want to be single?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he talks about like marriage and future and all that stuff, but for him, I think he's the kind of person that knows himself really well and knows what he wants, and I think that's where most people's problems are, including what me is like. I just kind of went with the flow, so I didn't know like what kind of partner I really wanted and what was right for me. But for him, like he's just like, no, I like this lifestyle and I won't budge because this is the lifestyle I want to keep. And then my partner will complement this lifestyle
Yes.
instead of me having to give up a certain thing to be with them. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting, because I always thought that you have to sacrifice a piece of who you are to balance with this other person. But then,
Well, that's how we saw our parents. Our parents were
Right.
constantly sacrificing, so we thought, okay, well, that's what we're supposed to do.
I think it's like It's like even though it sounds super cliche, it's like that whole like you gotta love yourself before you can truly love somebody else. But it's totally true.
Yeah.
Because if not, right, you got like two people who feel like I need someone else to feel complete coming together, trying to fix each other.
I'm already complete.
Exactly. So yeah, it's better to have like two complete ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one comment here. It's in her TED Talk video. They wrote, "In reality, the majority of us get into relationships by insecurity and chasing happiness outside of us. We let the person, place, or thing dictate our happiness. It ain't our fault. It's what society conditioned us to do. Kind of messed up."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people think it's like, instead of the journey, like they'll go, oh, once I get married, I'll be happy. Like, it's like I got it over with. Now I don't have to worry about searching. But I think the dating and searching and meeting and knowing myself is actually, the journey is way more fun than maybe settling for the wrong person.
Right.
So like, just, I don't know. I think it's not, I mean, think about it, right? Like you spend the most of your lives single or like dating here and there. Or like if you think about in human history, right? Like you knock somebody up in a tribe or whatever, you guys get married or whatever, but it's not the same rules that we have of today. Like today, marriage and all these things is like you get together and then you're with that one person, but other cultures are like you just fuck anybody. Or like, you know what I mean? Like the concept of it, I think it's been ever changing. We don't have just one way of doing things anymore.
Right.
This other comment that I also liked was, it says, "I strongly believe that people who feel like they have to be in a relationship have unaddressed issues from within." I related to that a lot because I felt that was the case with me.
Were you a serial relationship
I was.
person?
Ever since I was 16 years old up until today, there's only been 2 months of me being single.
Yeah, you need to hoe it up. Well, you did. Well, I mean, no, you're already married. Never mind.
I can't hoe it up anymore. I'm married. But like by understanding that alone though, and then like working on myself, Casey working on himself, and like now we've gotten to a place where like we feel like our relationship's really strong because now we've grown ourselves to complement each other versus us always like clinging onto each other for dependence. Like we're just very codependent people. But now we've grown out of that, and I'm glad we have, because man, that shit was rough. But yeah, I think it's because of that, because like we just had unaddressed issues from within. So
Facts.
That's what I try to look for, is when I see people and I'm like, you got issues.
Everyone's got issues.
We all got
Literally everybody.